po ako for the benefit of those who will be coming late in our class. Then I'll start sharing my screen po. Okay, and then I'll go to the module. So we are done with module 1, we are done with module 2, and currently we are on module 3. We're on module 3 na po. So midterm period na po tayo. So under module 3, we'll talk about cylindrical, sorry. Mali ako nang napindot. Back. Module 2 pala ang napuntahan ko. So under module 3, so we're done with the prelim exam. Again, hoping that everyone is done with the prelim exam last Monday. So moving on to module 3, we'll be talking about the concept of Coulomb's law, concept of electric field intensity, and calculation of electric field due to different charge configuration. So i-apply na po natin. We're going to apply the learnings that we have in module 1 and module 2. No? So medyo application na po itong part na ito. So Coulomb's law was already introduced to you in physics. No? So I'm sure you can recall the topic Coulomb's law in your calculus-based physics. No? So although yung electric field, I am not quite sure kung na-encounter niyo po ang electric field. But basically, if you study electromagnets, electric field was introduced to you. No? So meron tayong force field na tinatawag. Okay. So Coulomb's law states that there is a force between two charges which is directly proportional to the charges which is directly proportional to the charges magnitude and inversely proportional to the square of the separation distance. So sa physics po, ang formula natin for Coulomb's law of force, F is equal to K Q1 Q2 over R squared, wherein F is our force in Newton, K is your proportionality constant, Q1 and Q2 are your charges in Coulomb, and R, capital R, is your separation in meters. Now, the value of our K is 1 over 4 pi. Ang basa po natin dito ay epsilon naught, yung ease of O. So, minsan po, you will hear me saying ease of O. That's epsilon naught. So, which is the permittivity constant. Now, for free space or vacuum, the value of the permittivity, which is equal to the permittivity constant, ease of O, or epsilon naught, is 8.854 times 10 raised to negative 12 farad per meter, or approximately 1 times 10 raised to negative 9 over 36 pi. But most of the time, we'll be using 8.854 times 10 raised to negative 12. Ito po yung madalas natin gagamitin for the value of your epsilon naught. So, substituting the value of our K doon sa Coulomb's law of force, we will have F is equal to Q1 times Q2 over 4 pi epsilon naught R squared. So, this will be our working formula. No? Now, in electromagnetics, we're using vector quantity. Now, to make this vector force or Coulomb's law of force a vector, simple lang po ang gagawin natin. So, definitely, para maging vector siya, we will multiply this by a unit vector in the direction of the force. For example, to express F in vector, we consider two like charges. Okay. If you can recall, so physics, we are very particular with the signs of the charges, negative and positive. So, para mapagbasihan natin if meron tayong attraction or repulsion. No? in electromagnetics po, all we have to do is to express this in terms of vector, and then we will utilize the polarity of the charge. And definitely, since we are dealing with vectors in electromagnetics, hindi mo na iisipin kung attraction, repulsion, kasi yung vector natin already represents the magnitude and the direction of the force. No? So meron na tayong magnitude at direction. Okay, for example, we have here Q1 located at point 1, Q2 located at point 2, and then we have the origin. So we are aware that to express this in terms of vector, say for example, kukunin ko yung vector R from 1 to 2 or R1, 2. So I can solve for F2 in this direction. No? So since R1, 2, ang reference natin, di ba, ang ating ginagawa to solve for the vector, we have the head minus the tail, so R2 minus R1, and then yung F2 natin, vector F2, is equal to Q1 times Q2 over 4 pi epsilon naught R12 squared A12. So when we multiply this by the unit vector A12, our force 2 becomes a vector. Now, in order for us to solve A12, alam na natin to, that's vector over the magnitude. So, isa-substitute mo lang po yun sa calculation mo. Definitely, yung R12 natin dito is distance. So, magnitude lang po yun. Now, take note that F2 is the same as F1 in terms of magnitude. Kung halimbawa, you are interested to solve for the force F1, definitely their magnitude are the same but in opposite direction. So kung may F2 ka, palitan mo lang yung sign, baligtarin mo yung sign, that becomes your F1 kung vector ang hinahanap. But speaking of magnitude, basically they are the same. Okay, so this is now our formula for solving Coulomb's law of force. Sige, let's apply this to the problem. Example number 1. Find the force on a 1 times 10 raised to negative 5 Coulomb point charge located at 0, 0, negative 1 due to a 2 times 10 raised to negative 4 Coulomb point charge located at 1, 1, 1 and a 3 times 10 raised to negative 4 Coulomb point charge located at 2, negative 1, and 3. Okay, sa formula po natin, we're talking about two charges lang po. Sa example, we have 3 charges given. But notice, ang kinukuha po natin is the force in the 1 times 10 raised to negative 5 Coulomb point charge located at 0, 0, negative 1. Dito po sa diagram, sa figure, ito po yung kinukuhanan natin. So, what we need to do here is to get the force due to the two charges separately and then we combine. Pagsasamahin natin, vector addition lang naman yon. So for example, we will get the vector, the force from Q2 to Q1, and then we will get the force from Q3 to Q1, and then we combine. So dito po, kasi sa may konting typo error ako, hindi ko na ilagay. Ayan, wala po dito yung Q2 to Q1. So dapat po meron na pong Q2 to Q1. Okay. Now, para hindi po malito, sige po, let's do this in our whiteboard. So pwede nyo pong kuhanin separately, tapos you just combine, and then dito po kasi pinagsama ko na pinag-combine ko na po sila. Sige, gawin natin to. Kunin ko lang po yung mga given natin. Okay, wait lang po for a while. So I have Q1. Okay. So let's have this example number 1. So para po magkaintindihan tayong mabuti using our whiteboard. Example number 1, ang given po natin, we have Q1 is equal to 1 times 10 raised to negative 5 column located at 0, 0, -1. We have Q2. Ano ba yung nilabel ko na Q2? Balikan ko lang po ah. So, ang nilabel ko na Q2 is yung nasa 1, 1, 1. Okay. So, I have Q2 at 1, 1, 1. That's 2 times 10. Plus ang ating whiteboard. Wait na po. 2 times 10 raised to negative 4 column located at 1, 1, and 1. And I have here Q3, which is 3 times 10 raised to negative 4 column located at 2, -1, and 3. Now, ang hinahanap natin is find the force on Q1. So find the force on Q1. Okay, so we're talking about 3 charges here. So if we are to solve for the force on Q1, we have 2 charges acting at Q1, namely yung Q2 and then yung Q3. Okay, so lagay ko na lang po dito not to scale, may drawing naman po dun sa module para lang po makita ninyo. For example, this is Q3, this is Q3, this is Q2, and then this is Q. Para lang na-imagine nyo yung ginagawa natin. This is Q1, for example. So Q2 will produce a force at Q1. So Q2 will produce a force. Sorry. So Q2 will produce a force at Q1. Produce po yan ng force. Similarly, yung Q3 will produce a force sa Q1. And then what we need to do is, for example, this is force 2, 1 vector, force 3, 1. So we just need to combine these two. No, i-combine lang po natin sila. So vector naman ang agawin nating combination ng 2, ng dalawa. Gawa lang parang parallelogram method lang po yan. Okay. And then we just solve for the resultant. Resultant lang po ang kukunin natin. Okay. So ito po yung F total natin. Okay. So ganun lang po. Kunin lang natin yung resultant. So ang concern ko po dito is makuha ko yung F21, F31, and then F total is equal to F21 plus F31. Okay. Sige. Isa-isahin po natin. Sige, let's focus on F21. Ano ba yung, paano ko kukunin yung F21? So, F21, I have Q2, Q1 over 4 pi epsilon naught R21 squared A21. A21. Ito po yung formula natin for F21. Okay. So, kunin po muna natin yung focus tayo with A21. O, R21. Sige. R21. Paano nga natin kinukuha to? This is R1 minus R2. So, head minus tail. So, yung coordinates po natin, that's 0, minus 1, 0 minus 2, negative 1, minus 1. 0 minus 1. 0 minus 1 plus negative 1 minus 1. A, Z. Sabihan niyo po ako ha if you have questions. So this is negative AX, negative AY, negative 2 AZ. And then, let's solve the magnitude. Relax, relax. The magnitude of this is equal to the square root of negative 1 square is negative 1 square plus negative 2 square. How much is this? Ilan po ito? So this is square root of 6. Tama po? Okay, thank you, Andrea. Earl, thank you. That's square root of 6. Now, when we solve this, so notice that, sige, kunin natin yung F21. Tapos mamaya na natin pag-combine. F21 is equal to Q1. Okay. Q1 is 1 times 10 raised to negative 5. 1 times 10 raised to negative 5. We have Q2, 2 times 10 raised to negative 4. All over 4 pi epsilon naught. We use the value 8.854 times 10 raised to negative 12. Okay. And then we have square root of 6 squared multiplied by the vector negative ax minus ay minus 2az. Sorry. Oops, lumalaw. All over square root of 6. Now, ang gawin niyo po ganito para hindi po kayo malito. Compute niyo na po ito, yung yung constant term. Compute niyo na po ito. Sige po, paki-compute. How much is this? Word po yun. Okay. And then paki-type sa chat box yung nakuha nyo pong sagot. So 1 times 10 raised to negative 5 times 2 times 10 raised to negative 4 divided by all over 4 times 5 times 8.85, 4 times 10 raised to negative 12 times, pwede nyo pong gamitin square root of 6 cube kasi meron pang square root of 6 dito sa kabila. Square root of 6 cube. Pwede po yun. Okay, how much is our value? Chat box, please. Meron na pong nakakuha. Okay, balik ko ulit. How much is this? Okay, BBB. Okay, so sabi ni Earl 1.22, sabi ni Andrea 1.22. So I think tama 'yon, dalawa sila. So verify niyo lang po kung tama po yung 1.22. 1.22. So times na natin to dito sa negative AX, negative AY, negative 2 AZ. So let's distribute this. So this becomes negative 1.22 AX, negative 1.22 AY, negative 2.44 AZ. So ang unit ng force po natin is newtons. So F21 po yan. Yan po yung vector natin. Okay. So mamaya, pag-combine natin next, puntahan naman po natin yung F31. So F31 naman po, we have, palitan ko ng kulay yung pen ko, blue. So F31 vector is equal to Q, nilagay ko na yung formula dito kanina. Hindi ko pala. Q3, Q1 over 4 pi epsilon naught R31 square A P1. Kunin muna natin yung vector R31. So this is R1 minus R3. Head minus tail. Okay. So 1 minus 3, no? So 0 minus 2. Yeah. 0 minus 2. AX plus, we have 0 minus minus 1. AY plus negative 1 minus 3. Minus 3. AZ. Okay. Sabihan nyo lang po ako if you have questions. So this is negative 2 AX minus minus becomes plus AY. This becomes negative 4 AZ. So solving for the magnitude, So you have square root of -2 square, 1 square, -4 square. So this is how much? Square root of 21. Okay, so sige, lagay na natin sa formula ngayon. So ano nga ulit yung Q3 ko? 3 times 10 raised to -4. So F31, you have 3 times 10 raised to -4. And then Q1 is 1 times 10 raised to -5. All over, you have 4 pi 8.854 times 10 raised to -12. And then square root of 21 squared multiplied by the unit vector, which is -2ax plus ay minus 4az. Oops. 4az all over square root of 21. So again, katulad ng ginawa natin kanina, simplify nyo muna yung constant. Ito. Okay. Chat box, please. Sige po. Paki-compute and then type sa chat box yung nakuhang sagot. So yung square root of 21 squared times square root of 21 squared, pwede pong square root of 21 cubed. How much is this? Ano po ba? Okay. So, 0.28. Sabi ni Andrea, ni Earl, at ni Ryan. Okay, so I think that is correct kasi pare-pareho naman. So, 0.28. So, 0.28. So, multiply natin sa -2ax plus ay minus 4az. So, distribute natin. So, 0.28 times -2, that will be what? Negative point, tama ba ito? 0.56, is that correct? So 0.28 times 2, negative 0.556 dx plus 0.28 ay minus 0.28 times 4. That's 1.12 az. So unit is newtons. Now, so all we have to do is to combine. So F total is equal to F21 plus F31. So ano yung sagot natin kanina sa 2, 1? So we have yan, negative 1.22, negative 1.22 ax minus 1.22 ay minus 2.44 az. So, combine na natin minus 0.556 ax plus 0.28 ay minus 1.22 az. These combine similar terms na po. So, negative 1.22 plus 0.556 equals, so 1 point, that's negative 1.776 ax, ay naman po 1.22 negative 1.22 plus 0.28. We have negative 0.94 ay, and then sa az po, both negative 2.44, 1 point, I'm sorry, 1.12 to, no? Sorry. This is not 1, this is 1.12. We have 3.56 negative 3.56 az. Okay. Nasundan po ba? Do we have any questions with this? Check lang po natin doon sa module. Okay, isa na ako. Okay, so yan po. Negative 1.79 ax, negative 0.95 ay, negative 3.57 az. So ito po lang. So yung mga rounding off error lang po natin na very small, wala pong issue yon. That's okay. Wala pong problema yung round off error. Okay, are we following? Nakakasunod po ba tayo? Questions so far? Okay, thank you for responding, Andrea, Treb, Paul, Mark. Let's continue with our discussion. So next topic is the electric field intensity. So simple lang po ito, no? So madali lang po. If sa Coulomb's law of force, dalawang charge ang kailangan mo, sa electric field intensity, we only need one charge and a point, no? One charge and a point. So, for example, E represents the electric field intensity. So, pansinin po ninyo, from the Coulomb's law of force, i-divide mo lang yung Coulomb's law of force by Q1, by QT, yung test charge natin, and then you will have Q1 over 4 pi epsilon naught R1T squared A1T representing your electrical intensity. So in general, ito po yung formula ng electrical intensity natin. So E is equal to Q over 4 pi epsilon naught, yung separation nila, and then the unit vector. So ang kailangan mo lang, isang charge at isang point para makuha yung electric field intensity. Okay. So dito po, sa example, hindi ko po pinakita yung solution dito, but we can notice ito. Example number 1. Calculate E at M. So meron na pong pinapakuha yung electrical intensity at point M in free space caused by letter A. A charge Q1 of 2, this is microcoulomb, micro is times 10 raised to negative 6, at P1, 0, 0, 0. B, a charge Q2 equal to 3 microcoulomb at point 2, negative 1, 2, and 3. And letter C, yung dalawa na po. A charge Q1 of 2 microcoulomb located at P1, 0, 0, 0, and a charge Q2 equal to 3 microcoulomb at P2, negative 1, 2, and 3. So, lumalabas po dito, yung sagot sa letter A, i-combine mo kay letter B, yun po yung sagot kay letter C. Okay? So, simple lang po siya. Okay. Ang gawin natin, sige, let's do letter A and then I will leave letter B and C as practice po para sa inyo. So, Coulomb's law of force, sige, page 2 po na po. We have, being given, so I have, so, example number 1, Coulomb's law of force. Example number 1. So, ang pinapakuha po, E at M. So, yung M po natin is 3, negative 4, and 2. Check ko lang po kung tama yung given ko. 3, negative 4, and 2. Okay. Letter A, due to Q1 equal to 2 microcoulomb at P1, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So, yung formula po natin ng E basically is equal to Q over 4 pi epsilon naught. So, saan ako galing? Importante po ito So, galing ako K1 papunta kay E. So, ito ang gagamitin ko. R1 papunta kay, I'm sorry, KM, sorry. Point M ang ginamit. 1 to M. Squared. A1 M. Yun na lang yung gagamitin ko na para hindi po tayo malito. Okay. So, kunin natin yung vector R1 to M. Hindi, P1 pala yung ginamit dito na point. Ayan, P1. Palitan ko yung 1 to M. Para hindi po tayo mag-confuse. P1 to M. Ayan. P1 to M. So, P1 to M. So, paano po yun kukunin? So, head minus tail. So, that will be, parang wala tayong binago, no? So, 3 minus 0 AX plus negative 4 minus 0 AY plus 2 minus 0 Z. So, this will be 3AX minus 4AY plus 2AZ. So, kunin ko po yung magnitude. R P1M. That would be square root of 3 squared Negative 4 squared. How much is this po? This compute square root of 3 squared. That's 2 squared. 4 squared. Square root of 29. Okay, so solving for E now. We have the Q is 2 microcoulomb. So 2 times 10 raised to negative 6 coulomb over 4 pi times 10 raised to negative 12, and then square root of 29 square, and then 4ay all over square root of 29. So, pasimplify na po. Sige po. So, same with what we did earlier. Kunain niyo po muna to. Tapos saka natin i-distribute doon. Ilan po yun? Sige po. Compute muna ito, yung dinilugan ko. And then, alagay po sa chat box. Masyadong mabilis. Okay, so 115.10. Thank you. Andrea, Earl, Ryan, Ricardo. Ayun, dumagdag si Ricardo sa sumasagot. Okay, thank you. So, 115.1. 115.1. So, times 3, ax minus 4, ay plus 2, az. So, distribute na po natin. 115 times 3, ilan po yun? 345. 3, 4, 5, minus 4, that's 4, 60. Dito na po nilagay yung point, ha? Plus 330 AZ. Okay. Ang unit po ng electric field intensity is volt per meter. Volt per meter. Yan po yung unit ng E natin. So, this is the answer for letter A. So, hindi ko na po compute yung letter B at yung letter C. I will leave that as practice po sa inyo. Okay. So, that is our letter A. Ito na po yun. So, you can now solve for letter B. And definitely, you can solve for letter C once nakuha nyo po yung letter B. Okay? May tanong po ba? Do we have any questions from the class? 44 po tayo dito. Sa klase, 4 yung kausap ko kanina. Thank you, Andrea. Paul, Mark, thank you. Okay, let's move on. Moving on to our discussion. Okay, moving on to volume charge distribution. Dito po, we're going to apply yung natutunan natin doon sa volume, differential volume elements na pinag-usapan natin before. No? So, volume charge distribution. Volume charge, now, wait lang po. Ingay ng aso, wait lang po. Wait lang. Okay. May nakita na naman sa aso. Dali lang po. Hinga lang po tayo ng konti. Okay. Based po doon sa mga discussions natin, ang assumption po natin, yung mga charges natin, nasa point lang po. Or point charge lang po ang ating assumption. But in reality, charges are not concentrated in a single point. Charges are distributed over, ito pong una is volume. So, i-distribute po natin yung charge doon sa given volume. Now, when charges is distributed throughout a specified volume, each charge element contributes to the electric field at an external point. The summation or integration is then required to obtain the total electric field. Medyo masaya po ito, no? So, electric field due to volume charge density. So, yung volume charge density po, yun po yung ikinalat mo yung charge sa volume. So, kaya po ang unit niya, coulomb per cubic meter. So, ang symbol natin for volume charge density, tandaan niyo po ito, rho V. So, rho V is your volume charge density in coulomb per cubic meter. Now, rho V is equal to dq over dv. So, kung dq ang kukuhanin natin, you cross multiply, dq is equal to rho V times dv. And then, para makuha po yung total charge enclosed, you apply integration. Ito po yung paboritong subject nyo sa math. No? So, may bulate na naman tayong pag-uusapan. So, Q is equal to the integral of rho V dv. Ano yung dv natin? Babalikan natin yung differential volume element sa Cartesian, cylindrical, at spherical. So sa cylindrical, sa Cartesian, ang dv natin is dx, dy, dz. In spherical coordinates, our dv is rho d rho dp dz. And in spherical coordinates, our dv is r squared dr sine theta d theta dp. Okay, so medyo masaya po ito. Now, with reference to the volume, each differential charge dq produces a differential electric field. So, pati electric field differential po. So, dE is equal to dq over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared ar. So, para makuha po yung electric field, you apply volume integration. So, papalitan mo po yung dq ng rho v dv. Ayon. So, you have integral of rho v dv is equal to 4 pi. Okay, E is equal to the integral of rho v dv over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared ar. So, volume integration po yon. So, hindi lang po isang integral ang i-apply natin. So, yung triple integral po kasi yung volume natin, tatlong differential po yon. So, we will apply triple integration po dito. So, masaya po ito. Okay, so aside from volume, charges may also be distributed over a given surface area or a sheet. So pag nakadistribute po yung ating charge sa area, ang gagamitin naman po natin is rho S or surface charge density. Tingnan niyo po yung unit, coulomb per square meter. So, yung charge, dinivide ng area. Now, rho S is equal to dq over ds. And then, para makuha yung Q, cross multiply, and then you evaluate the integral. Q is equal to the integral of rho S ds, and the differential electric field dE is dq over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared AR. Para makuha yung electric field, you have surface integral of rho S ds over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared AR. Okay, we're talking about ds dito, differential surface. Naalala niyo yung in-explain ko sa inyo bakit kailangan nating malaman yung surface area. Tapos pinakita ko sa inyo, normally sa copper wire, ang tinitingnan natin yung cross-sectional area na bilog. Kaya pag nag-analyze po tayo ng differential surface area ng bilog, naalala niyo yung ds dun sa sa cylindrical coordinate system. Sabi ko sa inyo, yung top, yung pinakataas po ang mas gamit na gamit. So babalikan po natin yon. Okay. So aside from the volume charge distribution, area charge distribution, we also have the line charge distribution. So if charge is distributed over a line, so linya, its differential charge dq along the line produces a differential electric field. So ito naman, rho L naman ang gagamitin natin. Rho L is your line charge density. Pansinin niyo po yung unit, coulomb per meter. So doon po lang po sa unit, hindi na kayo malilito eh. Kasi line charge po ito, coulomb per meter na lang po. Length of the line ang tinitingnan. So rho L is equal to dq over dl. Q is equal to integral of rho L dl. dE is equal to dq over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared AR. And E is equal to line integral of rho L dl over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared AR. Okay. Now, pag familiar na po kayo sa formula ng tatlong charge distribution, namely volume charge, area or sheet charge, and then line charge, meron din po yung point charge, no? Babalikan po natin, ginagamit po natin ito eh. So yung point charge po, ito po yung nagamit na natin before. So point charge, E is equal to Q over 4 pi epsilon naught r squared AR. Ito po yung kagagamit lang natin. You will also encounter infinite line charge distribution. Pag sinabi pong infinite line, hindi po define kung gaano kahaba. So we also have here the derived formula for infinite line. E is equal to rho L over 2 pi epsilon naught R AR. Ito po yung formula pag infinite yung line, yung undefined yung haba ng linya. Pag infinite naman po yung area or infinite sheet charge distribution, this is the derived formula. E is equal to rho S over 2 epsilon naught AN, wherein AN is the unit vector normal to the surface or to the sheet. So the additional formula po ito para sa inyo. Okay. So madami po yun. And then, pag-usapan po natin isa-isa with the sample problems po dito. May mga example problems po tayo dito. Okay. Example number 1, we have a closed surface is defined in spherical coordinates by, so pansinin po ninyo, r is greater than 3 but less than 5. Theta is 1.2 greater than 1.25 but less than 0.35, and P is greater than 1.25 but less than 1.65. Find the volume enclosed. Okay. Pag tiningnan niyo po yung given, magkaka-idea po kayo kung anong coordinate system ang pinag-uusapan. So, R, theta, and P. Anong coordinate system ang involved po dito sa example number 1? Chat box please. Sige po. Para malaman ko lang kung nakikinig ba kayo sa akin. Sa example number 1, anong coordinate system ang involved? Balik ko. Example 1. Anong coordinate system? So we're talking of Yun, may nagta-type. Earl, spherical. Sabi ni Christian, spherical. Okay, R, theta, and P. Okay, very obvious that we're talking of spherical coordinate system. Earl, wag mo nang lagyan ng question mark. Tama ka. Tama, Christian, Zyron, and Ricardo. We're talking about spherical coordinate system. So dapat po, babalikan natin yung spherical coordinate system. So, sige, para hindi ako malito doon sa problem natin. Okay. Punta po ako sa whiteboard para po mas ma-explain ko sa inyo. Although, dito po, nilatag ko po ng step-by-step yung solution. Kaya lang, mas maganda po if we will talk about this in the whiteboard. Ayan. Okay. So, wag po kayong mai-intimidate doon sa triple integral. Madali lang po ito, no? Madali lang po ito. So, example number 1. So, ano yung given? So, ang given po natin ay copyin ko lang po yung given. Okay. 0.15 theta 0.35 1.2 I okay. So we're looking for the volume and close. Okay. The first thing na kailangan pong balikan dito, alam mo na that we're talking about spherical. Ano ba yung differential volume ng spherical? Ibinigay ko po ito sa inyo. So, pero inilagay ko pa rin po. This is r squared dr sine theta d theta dt. Okay. Yan po yung differential volume natin for spherical coordinate system. Now, para po makuha natin yung volume, we will apply integration. No? So, siyempre, evaluate natin yung integral nito para ma-cancel po yung integral at saka yung differential. Ang matitira na lang yung volume with respect to r, theta, and p. So, ibig sabihin, triple integral po ang gagamitin natin dito. Tatlong bulate. So, ang kagandahan po nito, yung variables naman po magkakaiba. So, separate lang natin yung variables. So, volume, isa-separate ko na po integral of r squared dr, integral of sine theta d theta, integral of dt. Tapos, notice na binigay po yung limit natin. So, meaning, definite integral ang i-apply natin. So, ano yung value ng r? From 3 to 5. From 3 to 5. So, upper and lower limit. Theta from 1.25, I'm sorry, from 0.15 to 0.35. And then yung P natin from 1 to 0.25 to 1.65. Okay. Now, ang gagawin nyo na ngayon is to recall your integral calculus. Yung una, r squared dr. Nilagay ko ba yung formula sa module? Hindi ko pala nilagay yung formula ng calculus. But, basically, ito po yung isa sa popular formula nyo. Power formula lang po ito, di ba? Sa calculus ninyo. That's power formula. So, madali lang po yun. So, Tapos integral ng sine theta d theta. Nare-recall nyo pa po ba yun? And then integral of dt. Integral of dt, integral and differential simply cancels out. Okay, what's the integral of r squared dr? Sige nga, power formula lang po ito. This becomes, so naalala niyo yung v to the n dv? That becomes v to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. Di po ba? So this becomes r cubed over 3. Limit is from 3 to 5. Upper minus lower lang po yan. Upper minus lower limit. What about, what's the integral of sine theta d theta? Anyone who can recall? That's negative cosine theta. Limit is from 0.1 pi to 0.3 pi. What's the integral of dt? Magka-cancel lang po yun. T ang matitira. Limit is from 1.2 pi to 1.6 pi. Okay. And then you will apply upper minus lower lang po. No? Upper minus lower limit lang po ito. Definite integral. So your volume will now be, papalitan mo lang po. Upper minus lower. 5 cube. Isin ko yung cube ko. 5 cube minus 3 cube over 3. Ganun lang po yung ano natin, definite integral natin, no? So I'm sure nare-recall nyo pa po yun. Over 3. So dito naman po, para hindi kayo malito, ito tatandaan ninyo, lagyan nyo lang sa labas yung negative. Pagkatapos, cosine of 0.3 pi minus cosine of 0.15. Cosine of 0.1 pi. Okay. And then this becomes 1.6 pi minus 1.2 pi. Okay. Okay. Tip. Pag may pi po kayo tapos may trigo function na kasama, yung pi po dito dapat gagamitin nyo degrees. So ito pong pi na to, saka pi na to, dapat po sila naka-degrees. Degree. Eh yung pi po is equal to 180 degrees. Pag wala pong trigo function, itong pi na to at itong pi na to, dapat po naman iyan ay naka-radian value. Ano po ba ang value ng pi sa radian value? 3.1416. Ayan. So pag tinype ko sa calculator, lumalabas na po yan. So meaning when I simplify this, dapat po, ang gagamitin ko dito, 0.3 times 180 cosine minus 0.1 times 180 cosine. Malinaw po? Malinaw? Pero susulat ko po dito para hindi nyo makalimutan. Sige. This is 5 cube minus 3 cube over 3. So, negative, this is cosine 0.3 times 180 degrees minus cosine 0.1 times 180 degrees and then 1.6 pi minus 1.2 pi. Paki-simplify nyo na po. Okay. How much is the first term? unang term po, focus muna tayo dito sa una. How much is this? Chat box, please. $32.67, sabi ni Andrea. Thank you, Andrea. Pa-confirm nga po, is $32.67 correct? So, isang confirmation lang po. Okay, thank you, Eman. So, 32.67. Please compute yung pangalawang term. 32.67. Kung may rounding off error po tayo, wala pong problema yon ha. Next term. So naman po kayo. Sama nyo na po yung negative mamaya. How much is this? Chat box po. Now, importante po that you practice using your calculator. Minsan po yung mga estudyante nanonood lang, hindi po gumagamit ng calculator. Pagdating po sa exam, saka lang first time na i-compute, mali ang lumalabas sa calculator. So be sure you practice using your calculator po. Kasi po, iba-iba po kayo ng model ng calculator, iba-iba po kayo ng brand. So different brand, different models, iba po yung pag-input ng value doon. No? Pag hindi nyo po na gamay yung paggamit ng calculator nyo, may problema po kayo. Pag exam, magka-cram na po kayo dahil hindi nyo alam yung tamang gamit. Okay, so be sure you're practicing using your calculator. Second term, how much is the value? Please practice using your calculators po. Mahalaga po yun. Kaya po kayo pinagko-compute. Okay. So, si Andrea mabilis gumamit ng calculator. 0.363. Thank you, Andrea. 0.363. And then finally, yung huling term. Ito po. So, kaya ako po iniisa-isa para masigurado ko po na tama yung nagiging result ng calculation ninyo. No? Para hindi po kayo malito pag nagre-review po kayo. Okay. Someone's typing. Okay. Si Andrea pa rin. 1.2. Mukhang si Andrea lang ang makakatama doon sa mga activity pag nagbigay ako ng activity. 1.257. So I hope lahat po kayo 44 kayo dito. Ang kausap ko iilan lang. No? So I would like everyone to practice para po hindi kayo magka-problema. 1.257. 1.257. And then you take the product, multiply po ninyo, you will have approximately 14.91. So since we're computing for the volume, cubic units. Whatever is the unit, kung ano man po yung binigay na unit. Check na lang po if this is correct. So that is the volume enclosed. Do we have any questions po from the group? Okay. Any questions? Meron pong tanong. Thank you, Andrea, Ricardo, Earl. Ito po yung mga kausap ko sa klase. Mark, Cyron. Okay. Kurt. Okay, sige, let's move on. Thank you, Carl. Okay, look at example number 2. Example number 2 po, pakomplikado po ito ha. So be sure nakakasunod po kayo. So find the total charge inside each of the volume indicated. So letter A, nagbigay ng rho V, 10 z squared e to the negative 0.1x sine pi y. So may exponential na po given. Letter B, rho V is, tapos nagbigay po ng limits x, y, and z. Letter B, 4x, y, z, tapos nagbigay ng limits rho, p, and z. Unahin natin yung unang letter A. Sige po. So example number 2. Sundan nyo pong mabuti, baka po hindi nyo maintindihan. Magka-problema po tayo. So example number 2, nagbigay po ng rho V is given. So rho V is your volume charge density. So rho V is equal to 10 z squared e to the negative 0.1x sine pi y. So may exponential na po. So expect meron tayong integral ng exponential. So ito po yung given na limit. So y, we have 1, and then z. Okay. Yan po yung given na limit. Now, so from here, very evident po, ano ba yung nakikita niyong mga variables at ano yung nakikita niyong limit na given? X, Y, and Z. So definitely, alam mo kaagad that you are dealing with a Cartesian coordinate system. No? Cartesian. So wala tayong problema kasi readily, madedefine natin, okay, ano nga ba yung formula? Ang hinahanap na pala natin, we're looking for the total charge. We're looking for Q. Q is required. Okay. Ano ba yung formula natin ng Q? Q is equal to integral of rho V dV. Binigay ko po yung formula na yan. Okay. Now, since nasa Cartesian po tayo, ano ba yung dV ng Cartesian? dx, dy, dz. Now, pag in-apply po natin sa formula natin ito, so our Q now is equal to, so triple integral po ulit ito with respect to x, with respect to y, with respect to z. So yung dami po ng integral, dumedepende kung gaano karami ang differential mo. Dahil tatlo yan, tatlong integral din. So susulat ko po muna So isa, dalawa, tatlo. Ano yung value ng rho V? 10 z squared e to the 0.1x sine pi y. Ay, sorry. Oops, wait. Hindi pwedeng singit, baka malito. Sine pi y dx dy dz. Tapos, yung limit binigay sa x, negative 1 to 2, sa y, 0 to 1, sa z, 3 to 3.6. Okay. Ngayon, para hindi tayo malito, paghiwa-hiwalay na natin yung mga variables natin doon sa mga integration process na gagawin natin. Separate ko muna si x. Nasaan ba yung may x dito? Yun, no? E to the point 1x tapos si dx. So, unahin ko yun, ha? Tapos yung 10, ilabas mo na. Constant naman yon para hindi makagulo. Integral of e to the point 1x. Ay, negative to, no? Oh, negative 0.1x. Sorry. Negative. Kakamali pa ako. Negative 0.1x dx. Limit ng x is negative 1 to 2. Si y naman, integral of, sino ba yung may y? Ito, si sin pi y. Sin pi y dy. Limit ng y is from 0 to 1. Okay. And then, si z naman, integral of z squared dz, limit is from 3 to 3.6. Ayan. So, nilatag ko na po. So, ngayon, balikan natin yung integral ng exponential function. Okay. So, anyone na nakaka-recall pa? Sige, sulat ko, ha. Integral of e to the u du is equal to e to the u plus c. What about integral of sine? Ito, ilalatag ko po dito para po alam niyo yung neutralizing factor natin. Sa integral of sine pi y dy naman, integral of sine of u du is equal to negative cosine of u plus c. Yung z square dz, walang problema, power formula lang po yon. Okay. So focus tayo dun sa first term ngayon. Look at this. Integral of e to the negative 0.1 x dx. Ano bang hindi kayo malilito? Okay. Equals. Okay, ko na po yung 10. Okay. I-analyze po natin e to the u du. Mamaya na nga yung 10. Mamaya na po yung 10 ay ibabalik ko. Dito muna, gusto ko muna po kayong mag-focus dito. Integral of e to the negative 0.1 x dx. Tapos tingnan nyo yung formula, e to the u du. Ano yung value ng u ko? Gamit po ako ng what color? Lang po. The green. Okay. What is our u here? Our u is negative 0.1 x. Tama po ba? If our u is negative 0.1 x, ano dapat yung du natin? Du should be what? Negative 0.1 dx. Now, tingnan niyo yung given. Meron po bang negative 0.1 na kasama dito? Di po ba wala? Dapat po, para magamit natin yung formula na e to the u du is equal to e to the u plus c, dapat may negative 0.1 dito. Para maging negative 0.1 dx. Dahil naglagay po ako ng negative 0.1 dyan, mag-neutralizing factor ako na 1 over negative 0.1. E to the u du na po yan. Pero meron akong nilagay na neutralizing factor. Okay. Naintindihan? So, hinihimay-himay ko po ito para sa inyo, ha? Now, what about yung sin pi y dy? Mamaya ko na po pagsasama-samahin. Isa-isahin ko lang po muna. What about yung integral ng sin pi y dy? From the formula, sin of u du. Ano po yung u ko dito? What is my u here? So, ang u ko po ay pi y. Ano dapat ang du ko? Ang du ko po is dapat pi dy. Eh, wala namang pi dito. So, dapat may pi ako dyan at dapat may 1 over pi ako dito para ma-neutralize yung nilagay ko na pi. So, may neutralizing factor na 1 over pi. Para magamit ko yung negative cosine of pi y plus c. Gets? Kakaintindihan po ba tayo? Integral calculus po ito. Okay, sige po. So, what is now our Q? So, sama ko na po ulit lahat. Q is equal to, pick upin ko na yung 10 na hindi ko sinama kanina. 10. Tapos, I have here e to the negative 0.1 x. So, lalagay ko na po sa ilalim yung negative 0.1. Limit ko is negative 1 to 2. Okay? Tapos, yung sin pi y ko po, I have negative cosine pi y over pi. Limit is from 0 to 1. And then, finally, yung j squared, c cube over 3. Sorry. Limit is from 3 to 3.6. Okay. So, ngayon, simplify na lang po natin. Simplify nyo na lang po. Upper minus lower. So, this is, sige. Sige, isa-isahin natin para hindi po kayo mag-confuse. Paki-simplify nyo nga ito. Itong unang term. Anong value nito? Upper minus lower. So, pag sinubstitute mo po yan, lalagay mo lang po yung, papalit mo lang yung x. So, bale, e to the negative 0.1 times 2 minus e to the negative 0.1 times negative 1 over negative 0.1. Ito naman po, lalabas ko yung negative cosine pi times 1 cosine pi times 0 over pi. And then, dito ko na lang po ilagay yung pangatlo. So, I have 3.6 cube minus 3 cube over 3. Ayan. So, I have 10. Paki-simplify po ito. First term. Hindi ko po masyadong ginagahol para po maintindihan ninyo. Simplify nyo to. Simplify nyo to. Simplify nyo to. Isa-isa. Sige po. Ano yung una? Simplify yung una. Wala pa. It's 11:59. Example 2. Sige po. Okay. Aha. Ito na po ba yung sagot natin? So, 2.86. Sige po. 2.86. Tapos kung sumunod, yung sumunod po, paki-simplify. That's correct. 2.86. Ito naman pong may cosine. Again, 180 po yung phi. Cosine 180 minus cosine 0 over 3.1416. Ilan naman po yan? Hindi ko po minamadali, dahan-dahan po para hindi tayo malito. Okay. Alin ba rito ang tamang sagot? Negative 0.32, 4.78. Parang medyo nalito po ako doon. I-check nyo kung mabuti. Ito po, may negative po rito sa labas mamaya. Okay. So sabi ni Andrea 0.637. Pero may dalawang mali po, may dalawang mali. May dalawa pong ibang sagot dito. Paki-confirm nga po. Is Andrea's answer correct? Sige nga po. Ako-confirm lang kasi meron pong tatlong value dito ako nakikita. Ano po yung nakuha ng iba? Is 0.637 your answer also or not? Cosine phi lang po yun. No? Cosine phi minus cosine 0 over 3.1416 times nyo sa negative 1. Okay. Sir, pag may katabi na trig function lang laging yes, oo. Eman, tama yung tama yung conclusion mo. Pag may kasamang trigo function, yung pi gagamitin mo 180 degrees. Kaya po nagkakamali yung iba kasi hindi nila natatandaan yon. Tandaan nyo po, pag may trigo function, yung pi, wag nyo gagamitin yung value ng pi na 3.1416. Mali po kayo. Gagawin nyo pong 180 degrees yun. Ayun, sabi ni Kurt, 0.637. So, confirming na yung sagot ni Andrea yung tama. Thank you, Andrea and Kurt. Eman, malinaw malinaw. Sure, pag yung denominator mo na walang kasamang trigo function, 3.1416 yun. At ito, kahit may trigo function, basta wala siyang katabi. Oo, ayan, Eman. Tama-tama si Eman kasi nagmumuni-muni doon. Yung dito po, etong may cosine, 180 degrees yan. Ito, cosine 0 naman na to eh. Yung sa ilalim po na to, yung sa ilalim po na pi, wala po siyang kasamang trigo function. So, 3.1416 po ang value nun. Ayan. So, yung sagot po nila Andrea na 0.637 is the correct value. So, kaya po pinapatry ko sa inyo para po makita ninyo. And then, the last one, yung 3.6 cube minus 3 cube over 3. Ilan po yun? 6.552. Okay, ang dami nila dito. So, Lawrence, Pay, Regine, okay. Sige, tama sigurado yon. 6.552. Paki-multiply na po lahat. So, this is our Q. Final answer. Okay. Lauren, 119.37. Okay. 119.37. Kung meron pong rounding off error, wala pong problema yon. No? So, truncation error po yon. So, okay lang po kung may mga konting difference sa point. So, Canvas module po natin, ang sagot natin is 119.5. Okay? 119.5. So, we have letter B, sample number 3, and example number. So, may letter B, tapos may dalawang example pa tayo. But it's 12:05 na po. Okay, so ganito po. Sa Friday po, we will not be meeting, but dalawang example po ang natitira. Ayoko pong pa-self-study sa inyo to. Gusto ko pong i-discuss sa inyo sa Monday. Is it okay that we discuss the remaining 2 examples on Monday? But pag natapos po tayo ng maaga, may quiz din po kasi tayo dito sa module na to. Tapos pwede naman natin ituloy yung, wait lang po. Balikan ko lang po yung module para sure ako na I'm on time. Okay. Okay, so may quiz number 3 po kasi. So, is it okay that we continue example 3 and 4 on Monday, but after that, you have your quiz number 3? And then may assignment number 3. Para sa Wednesday, module 4 na po tayo. Okay. Sige. Sa totoo lang, ayoko po kayong bugbugin kasi ng sobrang dami ng discussion every meeting. A 1.5 discussion is tingin ko tama lang para hindi po kayo masyadong ma-burn out. Okay, sige. So, do we have any questions po doon sa mga pinag-usapan natin ngayon? Malinaw po ba yung ating mga pinag-usapan this meeting? Importante po sa akin na naintindihan po ninyo. Okay, thank you, Siron. Sir, kailan po midterm? Midterm will be after module 4. So, ibig sabihin, ang target natin is next week. Target natin next week din. So, matapos natin yung module 3 and then magmo-module 4 tayo. So, target natin next week. Target natin. Yun ang target. Hopefully, we can make it on next week. Okay. Sige, medyo gutom na tayo. Low bat na. So, I think that will be it for today. Tutuloy po natin yung dalawang natirang example on Monday. I will not be meeting you on Friday po. So, I'll see you on Monday, everyone. But if you can advance study po, aralin niyo po yung example 3 and 4 para mas maintindihan niyo po pag pinag-usapan natin. Okay? Sige po. Ingat po parate. Bye-bye everyone. I'll see you on Monday. Usapan po natin yung natirang example. Thank you everyone. God bless. Stop share na po ako. Sige po, you can now move out of the DVD. See you Monday. Stop recording na rin po ako.